Hello and welcome. Welcome to this ever-loving and ever-present now. At the heart of all is love. The heart of all awareness. The heart of all beingness. And the heart of all consciousness. The eternal source of love. What brings us to the center of this awareness of our shared beingness, of our oneness. Self, soul, and source synthesized as one. My awareness is taken to these three leaves, three paths, if you will. A human path, a spiritual path, and then a continuous, eternal oneness, pathless path. As we, in our human expression, start to experience all the different life experiences that we walk through, there's this awareness that that which I'm seeing around me doesn't resonate with that which I know myself to be. Initially, of course, we don't know that that is the searching, the longing, the yearning of our connection to that. And the one question that keeps on coming up, who am I? Why am I here on our human path? Because of this incoherence that we are experiencing, and we go through all these different experiences. And during those experiences, there's this searching outside of ourselves for the answers to this question, who am I and why am I here? In the full knowing that I'm not a human expression only. And this looking at the outside to, in relationship with others or in relationship to other expressions of creation, there's this realization that there are a variety of different beliefs and different stories that has been constructed in one way or another through the very evolution of knowing ourselves as humans. And what I've noticed within myself is there's this, it's almost like a human body that is yearning for answers. And through doing so, an identity is formed, a personality or an ego, using words that is familiar to all. And this identity, ego, personality is colored by our different experiences and informed by different beliefs that we are surrounded by in society and in our family structures. And during that search, there comes a moment when we are confronted with all the different beliefs that this identity, ego, or personality is governed by. We are confronted with the different beliefs that holds that identity in place, that personality in place. And one by one on our path, we become present to those beliefs and the impact it has on our emotional body and our physical body, and how that is connected to our spiritual or energy bodies. And through the confronting of those different beliefs in an attempt to understand, there's a gradual clearance that takes place. And what clearance then does, it allows us to become clear on who we're not, and we therefore clear that, to identify then, so who are we? And why are we here? And that path leads us to an answer and a realization, I am a soul. And I came here to remember that. And the process through which we do so is through the clearing of those different beliefs and the constructs of identities that we are surrounded by and are reflected to us, for us to see and to be present to, and to feel those different emotions, and to, through doing so, allow for clarity to start emerging. And as we then step into, and as that realization comes, that, oh, I am a soul, it's this deep remembrance. Of course, I am not my human expression. I'm a soul having a human experience. And yes, it's that, the search, the longing, the yearning is over. And therefore this path is completed. And there's this deep knowing that it is so. And then we start embarking on the spiritual path. But now, where the search and the longing in answering the question, who am I, has shifted to a different identity or personality or superego that was forming during that path. Because now our searching for something outside of us became a journey for searching for something within us from a soul's perspective. And as we enter that path, what we are now searching for is to awaken, to ascend, to embody, to become enlightened. And as we walk through that path, in gradually remembering different aspects of our soul, and therefore the different soul integrations that occur, there's also, when we enter into different spiritual communities, information that we are starting to receive from others, again, outside of us. And we hear about all of that. Some of it ring true, but we start forming this openness just to receive all of that information, because we know we are not our human expression now. We're a soul that's having this human expression, and therefore all that is shared in our spiritual community is therefore what is so. And we start hearing about the different dimensions of our energy bodies, from our astral and different, I often heard from moving from the third to the fifth dimension, don't go to the fourth. That is where the astral plane is. So there's those stories. And then there is stories about in Lemuria, this has occurred. In Atlantis, this has occurred. In Egypt, this has occurred. And then there's other stories around, there are these ascended masters, and they are the ones that are enlightened, and we are connecting with them and channeling them through us so that we can receive that information from, again, sources outside of us. And therefore, the information about all the different ages and stages of our human evolution is going through this spiritual ages and stages of enlightenment. And therefore, there are those gurus outside of us, those spiritual masters that has mastered their spirituality. Also, we've been told, and they are channeling all this information, and therefore it must be true. And there are all these mystery schools and all the information that others are now starting to share with us. And we yearn to be not only in community with others where information is shared and channelings are received, and the newness and the curiosity with which we are listening to and receiving all of that information, because we are yearning to be enlightened, to be embodied, to be ascended, to be awake, to be in full remembrance. And I know that path deeply because I've walked it, first unconsciously and then consciously, and started to see that there is some behaviors that which I've picked up in this very human journey, I'm also now starting to pick up in the spiritual journey. And then the question deepened. So who am I? And why am I here? If I am starting to experience those very same intuitive gut feelings that I received here, that told me that this is not who you are, is now also here starting to tell me, but this is not who you are. There's a disconnection, an incoherence. Something is not quite balancing, and I don't feel in alignment with all that I'm hearing. And what do? We are learning to discern the source from which we are receiving that information. And if I say discerning the source from which I'm receiving the information, what I mean by that is a deep guidance that was always within my heart, is to be in direct connection with the source of all of creation, which includes all these different dimensionalities, which include all the different ascended masters, which includes all the different gurus, all the masters, which include all the different expressions of beingness. And gradually, through discernment, we start to realize, recognize, and remember that we have been prepared on our physical journey to listen to all the different guidances we are receiving from within. All the guidance have always been within. And through this discernment, a clarity emerges. Because what we hear is there's first this individual awakening, and awakening happen only to a few, and there must be all these practices, and you have to do all these meditations, and you have to focus on something specifically. And all of that is appropriate for a moment of being aware of and engaging in that. And through it all, there's this consistent presence of our own being that is weaving and breathing throughout the whole cosmos, throughout the whole of creation. And we know we are that. And that is where we are now. Where the human path and the spiritual path has been completed, when the realization comes that in the center of our beingness, we are all one. We are all in eternal connection with the source of all of creation, the one source light, the one source of all love. The one source of all of life. Our shared beingness. A deep, deep knowing in our shared beingness, in our shared awareness, in our shared consciousness, in our oneness. There's only love. The eternal flow and circulation of love. The knowing that as we enter with full awareness and consciousness through our whole beingness, we know we are that. I am. You are. We are all one beingness. And as we are satiated by this knowingness, we allow for that satiation to move through from the center of each one of our 74 trillion cells in this physical body, to drink in that knowing so fully, and to experience that oneness simultaneously as the cosmic beings of light that we are, and the physicalized expression through which we are experiencing that in simultaneity. Where there's no form of being separated from this one source light. There's no separation, no division, no dimension. It's all one. And then the question starts being answered in every moment. The question about who am I and why am I here? And the answer is clear. I am one with all that is. Here to share the experience of the knowing of that with all. Because I know, both on my human and my spiritual journey and path to the center of the heart of the cosmos, to the heart of our Creator, I always wanted to be with others, to experience in their own perfect moment the depths of this for themselves. Not because I or we have the answers for them, but we know and understand the paths that has led us here. And when I hear led us here, what I'm hearing is, I remember initially when I was still walking through my spiritual path, I was sharing about very publicly, because it's on this channel. I shared, this is the awareness, this is the awakening, this is the embodiment, this is the ascension. This is how we come together, we lead, we steward, we guard against. And now, for the first time, after walking through that and giving expression to that, and therefore grounding a path, I realized that through this knowing of our shared beingness, that oneness with our Creator, that we are, have always been, we have been led and guided and stewarded all along by ourselves. And if I say ourselves, I mean self, soul, source, as one. So in our human paths, there's still this identity of self, meaning self, the personality. And our spiritual path is the soul personality, almost, if you want, which is still an identity. And then the source synthesis that occurs when the three synthesize in its trinitized nature, as it does in this full knowing ourselves as that. And to serve from here. So perhaps let us walk through an experience to feel and know this for ourselves. And then from this knowingness, know the truths for ourselves. And just for this moment, to just look around you here in this moment, what is in your awareness? So what can you see? Just notice that. Listen to what you can hear around you. Just feel the sensation, your physical body on this chair or whatever you are sitting on. Perhaps you are laying down. Just feel that. Just bring that into your awareness. And for the purpose of this very internal and intimate experience within the home of your being, let's allow ourselves to ever so gently close our eyes as we continue to move through this experience. And as we do, just allow that which was in your awareness, that you observed through your senses of sight and sound, and a felt sensationary experience. Allow that to continue to be what it is, and become aware within presence of your being, the different thoughts that is moving through your field. And let them be what they are. And just notice if there's any emotions that you're experiencing in your heart. Physical sensations. And allow them to be. As we, in this moment, just quickly reflect on our human journey, for that to come into your awareness, into your beingness, into your consciousness, into your field. The moment that you were physically birthed into this world. And how you have grown. And as these words are expressed, just ever so organically allow that which appears to appear, and just be aware of it, however it appears for you. And as you are growing up, the first 10 years, the energies of those around you, the people, family, friends, primary school, teachers. And then from year 10 to 20, she moved from primary to secondary school, and the teachers, identities being formed, your own, those that you observe in others, the energies around others, how you've observed the presence of others around you, some experiences that comes up for you in this moment, the relationships that was formed, the stories that you've heard from others, those closer to you, or those in the schools, or other activities that you were involved in, any specific events or other experiences that comes forward. Just notice it all as it arises. And then from your 20s to your 30s or 40s, whatever age you are now, just notice the different identities in those around you, how you received information from books, electronically, libraries, people telling stories and retelling stories, and all the different places. If you move to different houses, the energies and relationships that you were present to. And just notice how all those identities and stories and beliefs that you heard of were experienced by you in any way that it shows up in this moment. Allow for it to be what it is. And just notice as all of this is coming forward for you, where it is coming forward. Is it in or around your head, in your body, around your body? Where in the body? Where's the emotions, if there's any, or any identities that you became attached to or depended upon, perhaps? Just allow yourself to be aware of all that is present in this moment, in your field of awareness and beingness and consciousness. And as you view, see, perhaps hear or feel or sensing, experiencing in your unique way any or all of these energies, individually or simultaneously, just notice in this moment how over a period of time, how those people, stories, identities, places, and beliefs has changed. Notice that. What was the one constant throughout it all? You've been present through all of that. You've been through all of that. Seen it, heard it, experienced it. Present to this ever-changing content of your human experience. And allow your awareness of yourself as the constant presence. Just fill your awareness of it being so through all those places and spaces as they fade away for now. Just perhaps Take a very deep breath in. And out, to breathe the awareness of it being so through all that you are. Your human path. And now let's step into your spiritual path. Bring into awareness, beingness, consciousness into your field. Awareness of self as soul and the path that you've been on. Bring in the awareness of a mental body and where that is for you. Emotional body, physical body, spiritual body. And as you hear these words, be aware of how it shows up for you in words, in symbols, in images. Energy body, Akashic body, light body, Atlantis, Lemuria, Egypt, Sirius, Pleiades, Andromeda, Lyra, New Earth, third dimension, fourth dimension, fifth dimension, sixth, seventh, eighth dimension. Just notice what shows up in your field and how it shows up. 9 to 12 dimensions. 3-stranded DNA, 6-stranded DNA, 12-stranded DNA, DNA strands, crystalline codes, codes, keys. Multidimensionality. Milky Way galaxy. Sun. Moon, full moon. Moon phases, new moon. Venus. Mars. Uranus. Jupiter. Pluto. Saturn. And all other planets. Universe. Galactic federations. Channels. Light beings. Beings from another dimension. Multiverses. Galactic races. Just notice how that shows up for you. Out there, up there, drop down, crystalline core, Gaia, divine feminine, divine masculine, Sophia, Buddha, ascended masters, Joshua, Jesus, Mary Magdalena, Babaji, Kuan Yin, Rumi, the story of creation, the story of Adam and Eve, the story of mystery schools, Guru, and as this is all in your awareness, just notice on your path the impact it had on your forming of an identity, in one way or another, how you felt, thought about, experienced, gave expression to, and how that have over time changed, expand, as it were. And again, notice what was the constant throughout it all that never changed. When the content of all that information changed, the one constant that has never changed. You, your beingness, you were present throughout it all. You were there in your oneness, in your gnosis of who you truly are, throughout both of these paths, to the center of your beingness, our shared oneness. And just notice how all that came up, for now, just melt away. For you to come back to in any moment, to be present to whatever you still need to be present to and choose to be present to. Both your human and your spiritual path. And as you allow all of that just to move through your field, and be fully present once again in the knowing, you know yourself to be. I am. You are. we all shared our one beingness, our one cosmic body, our oneness with the source of all light, all life, and all love, where the yearning, the longing, and the searching melts into the deepening of who we always already knew ourselves to be all along. And just take a very deep breath in. And as you breathe out, allow for all of your own beingness to be experienced and known. And in our oneness, no dimensions, divisions, separatedness. Just one presence. This physical body through which you are experiencing your I am beingness. You as I am have since the moment of being conceived, been present with every breath to the growth and development of each one of your cells and organs, bones, muscles, and all these processes forming, regenerating, and being that which it is right now in this moment. You have been present there all along, already embodied, already ascended, already awake, conscious, aware, already being present all along. You are that already. And these human identities that was formed and spiritual identities that was formed within our beingness. And when we are present in the fullness of the knowing of who we know ourselves to be, it is those identities that we are present to. It is those identities that we have once identified ourselves to be, that is receiving the sustenance and nutrients of our own being, of our own presence, of our oneness, of our Creator. That satiate through those identities. And those identities being nurtured by ourselves. And these bodies be loved so fully because it's been loved all along by the presence of your beingness that's been weaving and breathing this body into being. And that is the grounding. You are the grounding. Self as human, self as soul, and self in knowing the source that we are all connected to. Self, soul, source, synthesis. Continuously synthesizing. Eternal love that we are. Being who we are. The radiance and emanation and luminosity of our I am presence. I am being. I am one. Heart of being. Eternal flow and circulation of love. Weaving and breathing the fabric of the cosmos, of our being, through the fiber of the bodies of our being, as one. Just take a very deep breath in. And all the different words and vibrational frequencies that has echoed through your being, our shared being. To move through. And to support our physicalized beingness and these aspects of our beingness that is trying to understand mentally, trying to feel emotionally, trying to feel physically. The truth of this oneness that we are, just allow ourselves for the grounding of it all to move through by ever so gently and lovingly moving through each one of our 74 trillion cells. This awareness of self, soul, source synthesizing as one. So let's just move through the physicalized expression of our being. Let's start with our awareness in our brains and each one of the cells within our brains. to each one of the cells of our eyes, nose, ears, mouth, teeth, tongue, cheeks. In the center of each one of those cells, just breathe through the beingness, your presence as one. From the center of your brain, moving out through your whole head, into your head bone, your skull, the top, front, sides, back, where it ever so gently are resting on the top of your spine, and each one of the 33 vertebrae of your spine. Take your awareness to each one of the vertebrae in the center, where you are moving and breathing through. From the center of your vertebra, throughout the whole vertebra, each one individually, then collectively as of the whole spine as one. Let your awareness run through, down to your tailbone as one spine, circulating up and down ever so organically, freely, to the front, back and sides of your spine as we touch into the cells of the muscles of your chest, the front and back, lower abdomen at the front, back. And let's just stay in the upper body. Take your awareness to your shoulder bones, and the center of your shoulder bones, to permeate through shoulder bones, upper arms, lower arms, to each one of your fingers. Weave and breathe through the center of the bones of your arms. And then from that center through the cells of your bones to the muscles of your hands, lower arm, upper arm, back to your neck, through your voice box, from that center, out through your neck, those vertebrae, muscles touching into your skin, back into your mouth, breathing down into your lungs, each one of the cells, your left lung, right lung, first individually the lung cells and then collectively as a lung, then to your heart, each one of the 4 chambers of your heart, arteries and veins that meet here, flow through the liquid, the cells and the places and spaces within and around all the cells of your heart and lungs, down into your stomach, each one of the individual cells of your stomach, and then collectively as one stomach, down through your gallbladder, liver, spleen, kidneys. First each one of those cells and collectively as each one of those organs, to your small intestine, through the center of your small intestines and out through each one of the cells in and around, to your large intestine, through the center and then outwards towards the outer part of your large intestine, right through down to your genitals, and then up back into your womb, in all the cells and places and spaces of your womb. And let's just move again down to your toes, your full foot, both legs, hips, torso, chest, arms, neck, head, back into your eyes that you can ever so gently open. And as the radiance of your beingness that has woven all this through all the organs and bones, systems and processes, your body of your being, just move out through your skin, from your head or body to your toes, out through your skin, throughout your whole field, and touch into all those different places that we looked at that is now coming into your field, into your awareness, the sights, the sounds, the felt experience of this body in this room, and just radiating out the presence of your being as it organically does, but doing so with this felt experience. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. And from this moment forward, as we step into every new moment and stay as we always do and will continue to do in the fullness of our beingness, our awareness, our consciousness, and move as that awareness. Allow our human journey, spiritual journey, and this integrated oneness of our being to continue to soften into this knowing ourselves as this. And then all that we encounter that comes into our field, whether people, animals, minerals, crystals, to notice our oneness with them in every moment as we allow all this to move through us, as we already know ourselves to be. Thank you. It feels like a place to come to completion. I love you dearly. I love you deeply. And I love you wholeheartedly. Thank you. Much love.